Whenever you're ready, yes.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and ladies. As girls, what do you wish if you can have anything in the world? Maybe a beautiful dress, expensive jewelry, but you may wish to have a man like a prince. No, but I'd like to ask you, since when did you care about the prince? Probably it was when you started to read fairy tales like Cinderella, Snow White, and so on. But did you know that these fairy tales can be harmful to children? My name is Hyunjung Lee, and my topic today is the parents should set a limit on their children from reading fairy tales. But let me be clear, the fairy tales that I want to deal with is the stories about prince and princess. I will start by telling you about the reasons of limiting reading fairy tales. Then I will introduce the ways which can take place of them. If you have any question, please ask me after the presentation. So, to begin with, fairy tales encourage a view of discriminating people by their appearance. Let's take a look at this graph. According to researchers, high percent of ugly characters in fairy tales are described as evil characters. And even higher percent in the story, they live miserably. But how about prince and princess? They are beautiful and they described as good character and they live happily ever after. So to children, fairy tales might plant them a wrong point of view of people's character related to their looks, and therefore children would gradually judge and discriminate people by their appearance. The second reason I'd like to stress is that fairy tales make a distinction of sex. Do you know the princes have some comments? One is that they are good at housekeeping. You can understand easily if you remind the Cinderella story. Another is that they are weak and passive. They just wait for a prince to come. This comment forms what women should be like. As a result, it's natural for women to accept the man's proposal. And why do women should wait until men to ask them out on a date? For men, why should they always pretend as if they are brave? As you see, fairy tales separate the roles of man and woman, and fairy tales block the way heading to sexual equality. Now, to conclude, reading fairy tales should be limited to prevent children from forming a wrong view of the world. It makes children to treat people unequally, refer to their appearance, and plan the form of how women and men should be. For the ways to solve this problem, I want to recommend classic books instead of fairy tales. However, if children insist to read fairy tales, then parents should guide them in reading it. They should teach children to form their own idea. Thank you all for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.